Welcome to Moving to Portugal Daily, episode 42. I'm Mateus Costa. Today we dive into building a SEF-Ready digital dossier, a concise, verifiable application file you can assemble quickly to reduce delays and show up confident at your SEF appointment.
Imagine this. You arrive at SEF, your documents are scattered across emails, apps, and a handful of paper receipts, and the officer asks for a rental reference you thought you had. Heart racing, you flip through your phone, and the officer says they can't verify what you handed them, and your appointment is delayed by weeks. That mess costs time, energy, and sometimes a denial. Today, I promise a repeatable method you can start now, a digital dossier that makes your application impossible to misplace and much harder to question.
Why does this matter? SEF reviewers process dozens of applications, and they're looking for clarity and verifiability. A neat folder reduces cognitive load and increases trust. From my experience helping nomads, the majority of delays come from incomplete evidence, inconsistent dates, or attachments that can't be quickly cross-checked. When your evidence is organized, translated, and time-stamped, officers treat you like a prepared applicant, and that translates into faster decisions and a calmer interview environment. In other words, Portugal rewards preparation.
Section 1. Gather and prioritize. Start by collecting these must-have documents for D7-D8. 1. Signed rental contract or proof of accommodation with contact info for the landlord. 2. Recent bank statements showing stable funds or income flows, 3 months preferred. 3. Proof of recurring income. Invoices, contracts, or statements for the last 6 months if possible. 4. Health insurance policy covering Portugal with policy number. 5. NIF confirmation and any tax residency docs you already have. 6. Identification pages, passport, and any previous residence permits. 7. Utilities or municipal tax bills in your name when available. 8. Translated and certified documents where SEF requires translations. Prioritize items that directly prove your legal residence and income first. Rental contract, bank flows, insurance. Then supporting items like invoices and utility bills. If you lack a certified document, include the original plus a notarized or certified copy when required by SEF. The goal is completeness and redundancy. 2 independent items that prove the same fact. Keep your language plain and dates clearly visible. Don't hide a gap with long narratives.
Section 2. Structure and name files. Organization is the secret multiplier. Create one master folder called sef.dossier, your name, year. Inside, use subfolders with short standardized names. 01 ID, 02 accommodation, 03 bank, 04 income, 05 insurance, 06 translations, 07 index. For each PDF or image, use file names that are instantly interpretable. For example, 02 accommodation rental contract 2025-03.pdf or 03 bank statement 2025-0131.pdf. Start each file with the numeric folder code so the listing sorts correctly. Create a one-page index.pdf at the top level, a single sheet that lists every document, a one-line explanation of what it proves, and cross-references to page numbers or file names. SEF officers appreciate short, direct summaries. Bank statement shows X-Euro monthly inflow, pages 1 to 3. Add a simple chronological timeline file that maps your rental, income, and travel dates. This reduces back and forth by answering obvious date questions before they ask. Section 3. Verifiable proof techniques. You don't need a law degree to make documents verifiable. You need consistency and time-stamped trails. 3 practical techniques. First, timestamp and preserve originals. Scan every paper at 300 dpi, save as uncompressed PDF, and keep the original in a labeled physical folder. Second, create simple attestations. Ask your landlord or service provider for a short, signed statement on letterhead or email that includes dates and contacts. An email from the landlord saying, "I rented X address to Y from date to date," is verifiable and often accepted. Third, use basic digital verification. Save PDFs with creation dates, and for peace of mind, generate a simple hash or checksum using free online tools. Then paste that checksum in your index next to the file name so you can prove the file hasn't been altered. When translations are required, get certified translations and keep the translator contact info in the translations folder. If you need notarization, plan one visit to get cores of key pages notarized instead of notarizing everything. Prioritize the rental contract and identification. Finally, preserve email trails for things like invoice delivery, landlord confirmations, or invoice payment receipts. Those threads are legally useful and quick for SEF to check.
Tie-ins, habit, presentation, and interview energy. Building this dossier isn't just paperwork, it's a habit. Log documents daily. When you receive a new invoice, save, name, and add it to the index that day. Practice a 60-second verbal summary of your file. I live at X, I show bank flows of Y monthly, and my insurance is through Z. Rehearse it calmly. Dress neutrally and professionally for the SEF appointment. Neat grooming and steady eye contact reinforce the impression your folder creates. Small daily habits create big lifestyle wins. A tidy file, a practiced summary, and calm body language combine to raise perceived credibility. Build the foundation before you arrive.
A real nomad example and common mistake to avoid. I worked with a client who had all the right documents, but no rental reference with a contactable email. SEF requested a landlord confirmation, and the landlord had moved countries and couldn't be reached quickly. That one missing verifier cost 6 weeks. The fix was to obtain a signed, dated attestation from the landlord, notarized, and an email thread showing the landlord confirming the tenancy. If you can't reach a previous landlord, provide utility bills in your name for the same period, or a sworn statement explaining the gap. But always be proactive and label gaps clearly in your index so they're not interpreted as contradictions.
Immediate action. Your 1-hour checklist to start now. 1. Create the master folder SEF Dossier, Your Name, 2025, and the 7 subfolders. 2. Scan and save 5 priority documents, passport identification page, current rental contract, last bank statement, health insurance policy page, and 1 invoice or contract showing income. 3. Create index.pdf with 1-line descriptions and a short timeline. 4. Ask your landlord or a key contractor for a short email attestation and save it in the accommodation folder. 5. Back up the folder to an encrypted cloud location and mark the originals in a labeled physical file. Do this hour now and you'll cut the anxiety for your next appointment. Portugal isn't just a destination, it's your optimized new beginning.
If you want templates, annotated index samples, and scripts for landlord and invoice requests, download the SEF Dossier checklist from movingtoportugaldaily.com/checklist and consider the Nomad Life Success Dossier module for step-by-step templates, video walkthroughs, and custom one-page summaries you can use in appointments. Enroll to get the exact file names and index templates I use with clients, and we include script language for calm, credible interview answers. Optimize your life while you relocate.
That's your daily Portugal blueprint. Start employing one thing this week. Portugal rewards preparation. Small daily habits create big lifestyle wins. Build the foundation before you arrive. I'll see you tomorrow with another practical step to make your move smoother and your life in Portugal higher quality.